Last summer, we planned a quiet weekend away from the city, and someone suggested this beach that wasn't even on Google Maps. Just a long, empty stretch of white sand along a coastal village. Locals called it Zarwan Beach, said it was untouched and peaceful. Sounded perfect. We reached around late afternoon, set up our tent, made a small fire, and just relaxed. My younger cousin Omar, he's 9, grabbed a plastic shovel and started digging near the big rocks. Kids dig, right? So we didn't think much of it. But after a while, I noticed he wasn't moving. He was crouched over the hole, completely still. I called him, no response. Walked over, thinking he was being dramatic. But when I reached him, I felt weird, like the air was thick and the sound of the waves felt muffled. Omar was staring into the hole he'd dug, just a foot deep, but the sand inside looked darker, almost black. And then I heard it, a sound coming from inside the hole, like muttering, whispered words I couldn't understand, repeating, soft, rhythmic. Suddenly, Omar screamed like he'd been burned and fell backward. His eyes rolled back and he started shaking. We carried him to the tent and he passed out cold. We thought it was heat stroke. But that night, around 3 a.m., I woke up to soft crunching sounds outside the tent. I peeked through the zipper. Omar was standing barefoot facing the ocean. He was whispering those same exact words I heard in the sand. His voice was lower, heavier, almost like it wasn't his. When I rushed out, he turned slowly and said, dead serious, "She's under the sand, and she's still hungry." The next morning we left. No questions, no breakfast, just left. And since then, Omar draws spirals in notebooks, on steamed glass, in the dirt, over and over, even though he says he doesn't remember anything from that night. The last night we spent on that beach, something really messed up happened. Earlier that day, a local girl at the hostel, quiet, a little strange, told us about a real beach ritual. She said, "It's not for tourists, but if you're curious, follow the hum at midnight." We thought it was some hippie thing, but we were bored and curious. So just before midnight, we went past the rocks to the far end of the beach, and we heard it, a faint humming like low singing, deep and slow. In a circular patch of sand, there were 10 people sitting perfectly still around a massive bonfire. No phones, no talking, all facing the flame. One of them stood up, walked toward me, and handed me a small candle. No words, just a nod, then a whisper. "Light it. Make a wish. Leave something behind." I lit the candle, laughed nervously, and said, "I wish I could forget my ex." Threw it in the fire. The flames flashed blue for a moment. Then they all started laughing. Not funny, natural laughter, but inhuman, echoing, high-pitched screeching all at once. Their heads tilted back, mouths open too wide. I felt dizzy, everything blurred. Next thing I remember, I was lying alone on the beach. The sun was rising, no bonfire, no people. My friends were gone. My phone was gone. The tide had come up, but next to me, half buried in the sand, was a single item, a photo. It was me standing in the center of that fire circle. Everyone around me blurry, but my face, my eyes had been scratched out. I still don't know where the others went, and part of me thinks that wish, it worked, because when I try to think of who I made it about, I can't remember her name at all. I've always loved being alone by the ocean. It clears my head. So last summer, I booked a 3-day solo trip to a small beach cabin. Same beach, actually. It was calm, barely anyone around. I'd go for walks every morning and evening. On the final morning, I woke up early to catch the sunrise. The tide was out, so the wet sand created this perfect reflective surface, like a giant mirror under my feet. The sky was pink and gold, the waves soft, and everything was still. I was walking slowly, barefoot, when something caught my eye. My reflection wasn't right. At first, I thought maybe the sand was uneven, but the more I looked, the more I realized It wasn't moving with me. I blinked, it didn't. I tilted my head. Nothing. It just stared, smiling. Slowly, the mouth curled upward, wider than mine could ever stretch. My body froze. I looked up. Nothing there. Looked back down. Now it was walking toward me, but I hadn't moved. Panic hit me hard. I ran. Barefoot, heart pounding, I didn't stop until I slammed the cabin door shut behind me. I leaned over the sink to catch my breath and looked up at the mirror, but it was already fogged. Strange because I hadn't used hot water. And on the foggy glass, someone had written, "I've made it." Since that day, I cover every mirror at night, but puddles, glass doors, even shiny phone screens. Sometimes, just for a second, I'll see that thing again. The same twisted smile, as if it's waiting to catch me off guard.